multiple Red Bulls and stuff.
I've only had a water bottle and I'm drinking some Mountain Dew right now. Um,
Uh,
so nothing too crazy, but yeah, it's been quite a long day. Uh,
yeah, it's
so
it,
yeah.
it,
Anyways,
it,
we're live right now. We're gonna give some people a chance to kind of find their way over. Um, with the vertical, I've made myself a little bit bigger, so we're half and half here. Um, and that way there's not so much black screen. So, as people kind of trickle in, we are getting close to the end of the live videos. We've got Jamie Richards here with us. We're gonna have Josh Church next, Arnie as a collector, then Ingrid Hardy, and that's gonna be it. That's pretty much gonna wrap us up for the live videos. There's gonna be a couple more things going on tomorrow. We're gonna have a closing ceremony, I guess would be the word for it. Still working out the time. Make sure you guys look out for that. But anyways, uh, let's see. Everybody's saying hey. You are Jay Manchan's favorite human. So thank you again for joining us, guys. We have Jamie Richards here. Definitely come show him some love because I know he was a little bit nervous to get on the camera, but he's gonna find out by the end of it. It's really not that bad. So, anyways, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? What is tell us about your history or your background in art, and then what was your favorite or your first set that you did for Tops?
yeah. Well, it echoes everybody else. Mainly long-term Star Wars fan. Since pretty much the first film. The one constant in my life, the same as everyone's, alongside with art. I've always been into art and always been into Star Wars. So all of a sudden to have something like sketch cards drop into your lap, which is essentially what it did, is quite a good thing. Rogue One was my first set. Rogue One Series One. Another sketch card artist called Matt Sophie, who is in and out of sketch cards. He did a few sets, but dropped out for a while to pursue other avenues. But he tipped me off about them, and I did Rogue One. Did 35 cards for that. All of the first trailer, which everyone who's listening is nodding or shaking their heads in agreement. So working on nothing off a first trailer, which ended up being mostly recut, if I remember rightly, and then sat back, waited for the set to come out, and they were all rejected. So, so that was my trial by fire with Tops, um, which
Wow.
is odd when I think about it. The cards were okay, but like everyone, I think Jay Manchin said previously, you just don't know what you're doing when you go into it. And I looked at other sketch cards. I knew about Tops having the Star Wars license, so had a quick look at stuff and thought black and white sketches, that's the way to go. It could be that's why they got rejected. Who knows? But they were solid cards.
Hmm.
But what can I say? These things happen.
Yeah. Hey,
Uh,
the story of perseverance, right? You're still here. You've been around a long time, and you're doing some great work. So, um, now, how many sets would you say you've worked on since the first Rogue One to the most recent stuff?
I worked on every set since Rogue One.
Wow.
Which it's, and again, I feel like I'm talking to you and all the other artists in the group, there are no set hard and fast rules as far as doing the sketch cards. They have a roster of artists, and it's pretty much randomly generated. So every time the invite goes out, you're there looking at your inbox, waiting for that invite to appear. And there are some people that are incredibly lucky, and there are some spectacularly talented artists who get passed over time and time again. It's absolutely crazy. But I was very lucky to get invited to every set, bar the Rise of Skywalker Series 2 and the Women of Skywalker. And I kind of, it was okay because in my mind, despite the massive disappointment, with the exception of The Force Awakens, I'd professionally drawn on every Star Wars product as far as the films go. So I'd worked on every film, Solo, as I say, Rogue One, the original trilogy with the anniversary set and the black and white sets, and then obviously the sequel trilogy. So missing out on Series 2 of Rise of Skywalker wasn't that big a deal. Women of Star Wars, again, if I was looking at it from a business point of view, in my mind, it made sense to make that set more special. They should have hired just women artists. It would have been such a good marketing thing. Maybe a little sexist in these modern times, but realistically, it would have been a great set to have, because there are, every woman working on the Star Wars cards they're all hugely talented, and it would have been a great looking set, so I wasn't too bothered. And to be fair, I can do a reasonable likeness, but I appreciate there are artists that would have done a better job than me. So
yeah, hey, that's a really interesting point. I could see why they didn't do that, but I also could see why that would have been a really, really cool part of the set if they had limited it to the women. The women of Star Wars on screen and behind the microphones, and then the women of Star Wars from the art side as well would have been really, really cool.
Definitely.
But anyways, tell us a little bit about the mediums that you like to use. Have they changed since your first set to the most recent stuff that you've done? Have they stayed consistent? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, again, in my mind, I like to attribute the huge rejection rate on Rogue One down to using cheap disposable biros, which amazingly is what I did. I drew everything with sadly not to the quality of Andrew Fry, who uses does a lot of cards with biros. But that's what I did. My technical knowledge as far as art goes was minimal. Everybody knows paints and stuff like that. But as far as producing that kind of work, I just thought I draw with biros anyway. There was a very famous comic book artist who did his first seminal piece of artwork using cheap biros. So I thought, if it's good enough for Simon Bisley, it's good enough for me. Obviously not. So once you get into that group of artists, once you join like the Tops group and just become more aware of the world that you now live in, you do find out about Copics, the slightly lesser brands like Winsor & Newton, but really markers is what I kind of moved into, and technical pens, stuff like that. and that's kind of my comfort zone. The problem, what I will just say, the problem that a lot of artists face, and I know a few have touched on it before, is the quality of the card that Topps uses really does vary from set to set. There is no consistency whatsoever. So you have, they're too far out of reach, but you have just a massive collection of technical pens, because you just never know which one's going to work on the cardstock. And the same with Copics. I think what I'm going to do, I'm signed up for Holocron. I'm tempted to try paints on some of them. I think Copics are great, but there's so much more out there to consider. So we'll see. Perhaps I might, force myself, as the saying goes, and try something new. We'll see.
That would definitely be great. I was gonna say I was taking a look at a couple things, and I know we've got a surprise to cheers to take a look at here in a few minutes. But do you have any artwork that you can show us?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got all my returns, which again, I think Kevin said previously he doesn't like to sell his returns or words to that effect. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I don't like to. I just never do. The set comes out and you get your returns, and you just hang on to them. But I've got, tons of cards. I mean, that's a particular favourite. I think, is that where? There you go. I can see it there. So I think that probably is pretty much represents where I am with sketch cards. Or certainly with Star Wars ones, my colour theory's got a lot better as far as using markers go. But the lost for words now. The choice of things to draw, you have to be, everyone can draw an Anakin or a Padme or a Han or a Leia, mm-hmm. Boba Fett, Mandalorian, the Baby Yoda. But when you're doing so many cards, it's really good to dig deep and to find the random stuff. Here's an early card. I can dig this out. Bear with me. The guy from again, the colour light might not be that good, but I think that was one of the first ones where I really kind of tried doing more colour work. It's still very flat. I think artistically my background's in comic books, so I'm always thinking in that flat colour, classic comics, and they work pretty well. You get the odd one that comes out better than expected, but I'm never going to be a fully painted artist. There's a nice whatever her name is,
Cato Coconics, Billy Lord, aka Ping's girl.
That's right. Yeah.
Candace is saying, preach, Jamie, on the bad card qualities while she switched to paint. I know we're kind of starting to run out of time here, Jamie, and you're probably wondering, where did the time go? But there's something I do want to touch on. I kind of forgot about this, and as I was scrolling through your booth, preparing to show off some of the stuff you have on your booth, I recognized a card, and I said, where do I recognize that from? Oh, yeah, the Galaxy set. So you were a part of the Galaxy set 2018, correct?
Right. I will make this as brief as I can. Who wants to hear my Star Wars Galaxy story?
Go for it. We'll
everyone
take us to the end here, Jamie.
Okay. I got an email from Jeremy or Mark. Was it Mark that sent out the emails? Inviting me to do a base card. Unbelievable. Far too many artists that should have got invited before me. So, same procedure as everyone else. You send your description, fine. You send your initial sketch, which was fine. And then or I sent a colour rough, which is this. Look at it; it's lovely and bright. Look at those lovely colours. So there's my
Kai's over here saying your style is very unique. It's so clean and precise. Now, is that the original that you're holding?
That's the original. Yeah, just on a bit of cartridge paper done in Copics. So that was it. And then I had a reply from the art director requesting one change, which was on Poe's flight helmet. He's got the Rebel insignia, as was. Could I add that? So I put my art on the side and kind of forgot about it. Nothing more than that. It was, I'll get round to that. And the months went by, and I kind of kept meaning to do it, and then just left it. It's a little bit hazy as to the exact timeline. But essentially, what happened was I never returned the completed artwork. And this all falls into the tortured artist, bracket. Everybody sweats over their work. Everybody doubts themselves. If they say they don't, they're liars, because everybody does. And I just I just put it on the back burner, and then went through the phase of I wish I'd chased it up. Now I've left it too late. Communication with Tops is a nightmare at the best of times, so it just it drifted into the background. And then I get an email from Jessica, who was she was helping out Mark with the sortings of the cards, and I'd been invited to another set. And she said, by the way, I've seen your Galaxy card. It's looking fantastic. And I said, well, what do you mean? You must be mistaken, because I didn't get the final art in. And long story short, they ended up using the temp copy as the card. Printed it there, there's my base card. So yeah, it was like the biggest achievement of your career, whether as an artist or a Star Wars artist. Obviously, a huge amount of exposure in the media as far as collectors go, and they ended up using just a really shoddy piece of artwork. So it was massively disappointing in the one hand, but then on the other hand, I'm still an official Star Wars artist, and you're not. So it's that kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, I think you're underselling yourself here, Jamie. We've got to wrap this up a little bit here, and I got to get around to getting a signed base card from you here at some point.
Send me your address. Yours.
Oh, sweet. I definitely appreciate that. I was gonna say, I know I haven't gotten around to the international people yet. I've hit a lot of the domestic people here in the U.S. Absolutely amazing card, and I love your style, and the the original piece is so cool. I've gotten to see a few of them now. We got to see Jerry's, we got to see yours, we got to see. I can't remember who else we saw, but we saw a few original pieces, which was really, really cool. So before we wrap this thing up, did you have anything you would like to say to the people watching now or later when they watch it back?
No, not really. Just thanking you and the guys there for putting this all together. I've already made a few sales, which I hugely appreciate. Robert Mercer, Eric, whose surname I can't pronounce off the top of my head, and a few other guys have shown interest in cards, which is fantastic. I mean, it's great for you guys to be spending the money, and it's great to be helping us. I'm doing okay. I've still got a day job. I'm on furlough from it, so financially I'm okay. But there's a lot of guys and girls who aren't, and this is just, in a lot of cases, this will be a lifesaver. So hugely appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an honor and a pleasure to do this. And as we're kind of wrapping up here, you guys definitely go check out Jamie's booth. Are you taking commissions?
Yeah. If anyone wants anything, obviously I do sketch covers. Who doesn't do sketch covers? There's a nice one of L337 and the Falcon. But yeah, I love doing sketch covers. I've got a huge stack. Far more than my wife thinks I have. So yeah, anything you want, it's all good. So
awesome. Well, hey guys, again, make sure you find your way over to the event page. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, as I've said probably 50 times by now. Make sure you check out all the artist booths. Make sure you stop by Jamie's booth when you're there. That event page is strictly dedicated to the artists and their posts, so that you can find them easily, find their prices, find their artwork, and reach out to them. It'd be great if you guys can go and support some of them. Go check out Jamie's stuff and see if you can get something of his. If you can't, it's certainly understandable, especially in these times. And a like and a comment goes just as far. They certainly appreciate all the kind words and the support. So go do that if you can. And we'll be coming back here in just a couple short minutes. I was going to say, next up we've got Josh Church, who was actually on earlier for one of the panels, I believe, this morning, followed by Arnie Galat as a collector right after that, and then Ingrid Hardy's going to wrap us up for the day in about an hour and a half from now or so, something like that. So anyways, thank you again, Jamie, for coming out, and it wasn't so bad, was it?
Not at all.
So anyways, hey, we got to get you on one of the group breaks here soon. I know we've been working on getting you there, so we'll have you on as soon as we can. So have a good night, Jamie.
No worries. You. Take care.
We'll see you guys all soon.
Yep. See you soon.